I thought I'd find you here. That damned tree sent me. He has roots and branches all through the forest, but I was so hoping you'd be enough of a distraction for me to pass unnoticed. He said we should walk this path together. Thought I could help you, or maybe that you could help me. The gardens of Issa, home of the Summer Fae, once spread from the forests of Dalentarth, across the plains of Erethel, and even through the deserts of Ditir. Between the madness of the war and the spread of man, Alfar, and Nome, the Summer Fae lose a little more ground every day. A tragedy for them. I've never met Nash. Trolls and Darkwolfar rarely invite each other to tea, but if she's matriarch of a clan, you can be sure that she's strong. And if she's so corrupted that Neeralim is nervous about her, then she must pose a bigger threat than most trolls. Let's not keep Nash waiting. Trolls aren't normally this well organized. Even the biggest clans never build dens this deep. There's a time to talk and a time to fight. You're on your way. What are the two Arthur doing here? these trolls ever went on a rampage, they could destroy half of Dalentar. Looks like the Tuatha have been working here for a long time. If they've come this far inland, we're all in grave danger. Prismere. The twins have come to her. Nice work. I see you haven't forgotten how to handle yourself in a fight. Still, this is bad. I didn't think the Tuatha would reach this far. At least not so soon. Obviously, the Tuatha have bigger plans than just killing you. Infusing the trolls with Prismere, trying to bring the war to Dalantarth? Nirelin was right to be concerned. Aren't I always? But have patience. For now, why not take comfort in knowing that you saved Nirelin and his forest? Go, talk to the tree. I'm sure he'll allow you into Issa. I'll stay here and finish off any remaining Tuatha. You can tell the old mossy log yourself. I'll be tracking down any other Tuatha that may have come this far west. I'll find you again when the time's right.
Money welcome. Care to toss some dice?
welcome to Star.
Always open for business when the road is your marketplace. Are you looking to buy items or sell? If you need another... trade. Then always open for business when the road is your marketplace. Are you looking? If you need another trade, then come and see the
Back again? Still could use the help of a clever traveler if you need some coin. Pleasant travels, Burke.
Careful where you tread, for these waters.
You return, and in your wake, Dalentarth blossoms. The flow is rearranged, now and forever. Nash's brood is at an end. You have destroyed what was written, and made a new fate for Dalentarth. Even your darkest ally walks a lighter path. And yet the Tuatha still spread, marching with Prismere and pain. You have only delayed our doom. I have already given you much. Now you must learn what you have received. You must know this, Quickling. The age is changing. Immortals are passing, and the future belongs to the young races. If there is a future to be had. Go, and stand at the heart of the She. There you will find Issa, and perhaps you will find wisdom as well. Nash and her brood would have spread across Dalentarth and brought the taint of Prismere with them. So it forever was to be, until you set about to stop it. Only the path of your own choosing. Stand at the heart of the She, and if that path includes the gardens of Issa, I shall allow it. May your path be long and evergreen.
place for a mortal such as yourself to be wanted.
The peace edict applies to all mortals, noble and common. That means you too.
Ah, you have arrived at last. Welcome to the Gardens of Issa, home of the Summer Court, and the warm heart of the Feylands. I know you had hoped to speak with the High King, but our seers sense a danger pursuing you. Naturally, we cannot allow such threats to be brought into the High Court, perhaps once you have dealt with your own unfinished business. High King Titarian is Lord of the Summerfey, the font of all our wisdom, and first amongst the immortals. And since Godflow tragically murdered the High King of the Winter Court, Titarian is the greatest and last true leader left of our kind. The sapling of the World Tree bears centuries of great wisdom. Of course, long-lived as Nirlam is, it is still regrettably mortal. Even all greatest mortal wisdom cannot compare to the perspective given by true agelessness. Begging your pardon, of course. We are the Summer Court, the very embodiments of courage, honor, and all things bright and proud. Some envious few in the Winter Court would call us arrogant and self-righteous, as well as all manner of other epithets. But remember, we are the ones who stayed true to tradition, while they turned to barbarism. The Tuatha find new recruits from our ranks. The ranks of the Fae were not always sullied by the presence of anything so coarse as the Tuatha. Once, the Summer and Winter Courts existed in harmony. But Godflow perverted the Winter Court with talk of his new god, and from that poison, the Tuatha arose. Too many mortals misunderstand the Winter Court. Our cold cousins are not evil, but merely evoke the darker truths of nature, from subtlety to decay. Perhaps it makes sense that children of dust are put off by those who embody their inevitable death, but it is regrettable that so many are misunderstood. Truly a place of wonder, as it has always been and always shall be. Here springs the life well of Dalentarth, and the greater Feylands in all directions. It is a pity that some of our kind have fallen to such degenerative states, but we cannot shed a tear for their weakness.
We are quite aware of the conditions on the outside, but it is not our way to interfere.
Oline will not tell you of this. She disapproves of pride. She does embody nature's tooth, a sharp and silent, simple truth. And yet Oline will always shine among the ballad's lore. For humble though her carriage be, a greater knight we'll never see.
Get to know your blade here.
If you're looking to buy armor, I'm the only one in Felltown who's authorized to sell it. I'm Gwenna Hand, but my customers call me Gwen. I don't have many weapons to offer, on account of the peace edict, but there's still a selection to pick through. Have at it. The Tuatha were intensifying their attacks against Mel Sinshir, the Bastion in the east. Of course, that's just rumors. I pray they're not true. This is where the Fae keep us so we don't blemish their pretty city. Can't say I blame them. We're an unruly and ugly lot, mortals. Being here isn't good for business, that's for sure. I see the same damn 20 faces every day. But it's an honor for Britt and I to be here. Make no mistake about that. He's a dear friend from years ago. He spent time as my apprentice, but recently set out on his own. He sells authentic ritual Fae blades outside in the square. The Fae didn't have laws, at least not official ones, until we arrived. Now they insist that those of us who live in Issa must keep its peace. No weapons. You must be one of the special exemptions. Let me guess. Ambassador? Scholia Arcana? Could be anything. My twin brother and I were entering the army to fight for the Alpha when I panicked. I couldn't. I'm not a fighter. I came to Issa instead. I'm not proud of running, but I'm much more useful here, as an unofficial ambassador of sorts. Not everyone's a fighter. Have a good day.
Vandalton's here. Get over here. We don't abide by strangers in Issa. In this city, everyone is family. If you want to get around the peace edict, you'll have to keep your voice down. It's not exactly the keys of Rathir, or even the hospitalis quarters of Odessa. But Felltown has its charm. If you find out what it is, be sure to come and find me. It's better than the cellar crawl space I called home just 2 months ago, believe me. The Fae may be grumpy, but they've got nothing on giant rats. You know, that neighborhood in the gnome city of Odessa where the poor live. Oh, it's a lot of fun. Well, technically, we're not supposed to carry or sell weapons in Issa, but I found a few loopholes. As have you. If you're on the market for something deadly, I'm your man. Just don't go blabbing about it to the Fae. They've got buds for brains. The Dockside District in Rathir is a lovely place. If you're looking to have your throat cut or contract a nasty disease, remember it next time you travel there. Not much to tell. Heard the war horn of the recruiters and packed my bags. Slipped out in the dead of the night, I did. And I'm proud of it. What good is fighting when the Tuatha don't die? Besides, I'm a businessman. I got my hand on a pass into Issa, and the rest has been waterfalls and walks by the river. Bye now. The Fae like us to stay out of the Understyle. That's their district. Our kind linger in the shadows of Felltown. I can help you with those.
You've been watching me long enough. What is it? Did I wrong you in another life, sister?
Goodbye.
Get to know your blade here. Idle hands can lead one into trouble. The best way to keep busy is to learn a use. If you're willing to spare the gold, I can teach you what I know. In this battered old skull is a lifetime of knowledge, and quite a few stories as well. I have no interest in this war between mortals and the deathless. It is a waste of life, and I have my own private battles to finish. It's as good a place as any, I guess. But after a while, people begin to remember you. And for someone like me, that's a problem. I prefer anonymity. Besides, could there be a better place to hide from this offensive war? The only weapons you find in a garden are the blades of grass. I don't care to stay in one place for too long. Felltown sounded like a good opportunity, and an even better hiding place. I can't say the peace edict has hurt business, but it's not exactly easy to train students in blacksmithing without weapons around. What you've no doubt heard is correct. I am the Holt Fren. I forged Bolgan's Bane of the Kaled Coast, and many other legendary pieces. My youth was spent as a mercenary, but I have since renounced those ways. Unfortunately, my enemies have long memories, and they aren't as forgiving as I am. It is an ancient Alfar kingdom far across the sea in the dense swamps of Cluricon. I once helped its great lords overcome a terrible Bolgan problem. Let the Fae try to stop me from carrying arms in the city. Weapons are my trade, my only expertise. It would be like asking a hen to stop laying eggs. I'll be here.
Hope you're here about the job. Demand is higher than ever. I'm just too busy to deal with anything else. Making a fortune is what? These visitors come with obscene amounts of gold or treasure. They don't mind parting with it. My plan was brilliant. I created a blade. Fey blade, of course, that makes them authentic. Something all of them had to have. That's all they care about anyway. Fey souvenirs. I called it the Honor brand. Truth be told, it's dull as a stick, but it's easy to make. Listen, if you can find the parts and make them, I'll pay good money. Fabulous! Fabulous! You know a good deal when you see it. There aren't enough people like you in Issa. The Fae don't even use money. Can you imagine? Once you start forging the Honor brands, bring them to me and I'll provide you with just compensation. Sure. You want to know about me? It's understandable. You want to know who you're going into business with. A wise move. Very wise. My mother was a merchant in Rathir, and I learned the trade at her side. I took the apprenticeship with Gwenna Hand mostly to get me into Issa. Now I'm on my own. What do I know of Fae politics? I didn't even know they had a city until Gwen and I were allowed in. All I know is that there's opportunity here, thanks to the war. I can sum up the war in one word. Folly. It is folly. You will see. Everyone will see. You think I like being confined to this cage? Think again. And after all we've done for them in this war, ungrateful creatures. It's safe, that's for sure. At least for the time being. I don't quite understand the Fae, but they definitely know how to keep a city quiet. She's the general merchant in the United Merchants delegation down the road. We've been friends for years now, I believe. A good, honest one, that Gwenna. There should be plenty of parts around the city. For creatures with no interest in possessions, they sure know how to collect a fair amount of junk. Not just anyone can enter the secret city of the Fae. Oh no. You need an ambassador's endorsement and written authorization, and that's just to be in the lottery. Those in the United Merchants are the lucky ones. Of course, once you see how much gold they actually make in Issa, you will no longer envy them. Keep an eye out for parts. Doesn't look like you've had any luck. Forge me an honor brand and I'll do my best to make it worth your time. Keep an eye out for parts.
Aren't you bold? This is the Varani wing of the embassy, and few venture here without being summoned. I'm Ambassador Advar, he who bloodies the waters. The Varani allow the purchase of several titles for use in the gardens of Issa, but they are rare and should be worn with great respect. A title worthy of one who's claimed many victories. Let us hope you are worthy. I proclaim you Blood Doge. I have served my people for 40 years, in war and in peace. Now I serve here, in the gardens. It is here where the important battles are fought, the Battle of Wills. I enjoy being this close to those I'm competing against. That's what this is, isn't it? A conflict in which we struggle to gain the ear of the Fae. As always, the Varani will triumph. I have lived in less hospitable places. The Fae may not understand what it means to be mortal, but they certainly have an eye for beauty. The High King knows why we are here, yet he does nothing. Our people die at the hands of the Tuatha, Fae, but the Fae themselves show no remorse. Titarian and the Summer Court will know our anger, and they will aid us or perish. Probably a good idea. You don't want to attract too much attention to yourself. For the most part, they're the political equivalent of trinkets. Playthings that are bought and sold for status. Fae heralds will announce your presence, but that is all. No skin from my nose. Your business is your own, as is mine. Leave me to my business.
Welcome to the embassy, young one. I am Scholar Icob of the Domus Politica. What brings you to my chamber? I have no love for the other races here, if that's what you're asking. The Varani are coarse and brutal, while the Alpha are scheming and treacherous. The Ormain, well, they don't leave much of an impression, if I must be honest. I'll forgive them for their blandness. After all, they are so young. There's much to be gained from an alliance with the Summer Court. although I can't say I enjoy working with Fae directly. They're too set in their ways, too rigid. They've already grown and changed. The Tuatha themselves are a new breed of creature. A fascinating amalgam that should be explored. We have a unique interest in the Fae, but I cannot explain further. I will say this. Their supposed immortality poses a problem to all mortals. The scholars in Odessa have a keen interest in gaining High King Titarian's trust and cooperation. There's so much to learn from him. A flighty creature. During my audience with the king, he forgot my name not once, but twice. It was insulting. But did he notice? Never. I've had a long career as an ambassador with the Domus Politica, and as a clerk in the Grand Bursars. But the real work will be done out here, in the wider world. We find them endlessly fascinating, in their ambition, in their magic, and in their disregard for the natural order. We could learn much from such creatures. Of course, it's one simple service I can provide. Perhaps with time and effort, you will one day reside with us here, in the embassy. We all must consider our choices, until we speak again. Until we meet again.
I apologize, but one of my station has many obligations to attend to. Please, excuse me.
Let me guess. You're here to buy a title. No? A bribe, is that what you want? Listen to me. I'm no one's plaything. I apologize. Forgive me. Sometimes the work in this place is too much. I thought Issa would be different, but it's just another nest of snakes. I understand. Well, I can offer you the traditional alpha titles that are available at the embassy. This one is worn by our most secretive scouts and agents. It is a good choice. I proclaim you the Dark Hunter. I don't believe the Fae see the Lossulfar and Dokulfar as separate groups. They tend to view the world in strict generalities, along bloodlines and origins. Sometimes working alongside the Dokulfar is difficult, but we have an arrangement. They adhere to their goals and methods, and we adhere to ours. You think I want to be here, stuck in this giant vegetable? Never. My mother volunteered me for this position, and I had no choice. I have a young soldier back home who waits for me, but can I be with him before he sails? No, I have to administer to the Fae. The war is the only reason I'm not still resisting my appointment. Something must be done. You know it as well as I do. The Fae must help. Who knows our enemy better? Do yourself this one favor and leave this place as quickly as you came. It's a den of deceit and malice. You don't want friends like these. See you later.
If this were my city, I'd want to hide it too. If the gardens of Issa ever fell, I cringe to think of the outcome.
Then we must do what needs to be done.
Perhaps we must finally swallow our dignity and draw our swords. Quiet. We must not discuss this further in the open. You must be the special messenger Titarian's expecting. Trust me, the rest of us have heard plenty about it. Erwin can't keep his big mouth shut. I am Methani Keen, Dokulfar ambassador to the Summer Court Fae. I'm sorry. This is a difficult position sometimes. Something is about to happen, and it must be stopped. But that is all I can say. This is neither the time nor the place. If you're interested in hearing my story, meet me in the worship circle after dark, near the gates. I will wait for you there. They are a council of Fey nobles that advise the High King in matters of politics. Not that they even understand what that means. To them, politics is just a game. Well, more of a game than usual. You understand my meaning. This is where the Fey hide us to keep us out of sight. I used to take offense, but I got over it. I wouldn't want to live near them. Strange things, the Fey. Issa is fine, and the Fey are tolerable, but many believe they should do more to support the war effort. It's unjust to live in peace while the rest of the world burns. I've met with him several times. I'll admit, he radiates a certain presence, but I'm less interested in charisma than I am in leadership. This is not the place. I will meet you in the time and place I specified. Goodbye.
Hello, I am Ambassador Calder of the Almain. We may be new to the region, but we are just as involved in matters of the Fae and the war. It is simply an honor to be here. We Almain are doing our part for the war effort, but there are plenty of other relationships to forge far from the battlefields. Like most of my kin, I have humble roots. My parents were both trappers on the Snaketail River, feeding much of Whitestone Village back before it fell on hard times. Despite my position as lead ambassador to the Summer Court, I am an outsider. There is bad blood between some of the races. As a result, I try to steer my own course. I do not wish to speak ill of other diplomats, but Ambassadors Keen and Brenner of the Alphard and Varani are plotting against each other, as if we need more deception. Goodbye.
Hey.
Presenting the blade in the shadow.
Hey there, pretty. This is Asker's Alley, best tavern in Issa. Only tavern in Issa, of course, but you didn't know that, did you? If you're new in the city, I can help. I know everything. About the Understyle, the Embassy, the Scholia Arcana, you name it. I know it all. We provide your basic public service. Ale. And if drinking isn't your thing, then you can always stop by the Hexes game and back. Sure, we've got a place to sleep on the floor over there, but it'll cost you. Fine, it's up to you. Oh, if I had the finery and manners, you wouldn't find me anywhere but the Embassy Hall. I'd even buy a title. But it's a dreadful place these days, what with the war. The Darkofar and Varani are practically at arms over their differences, and everyone speaks in a whisper. I prefer the United Merchants delegation. Those are my people. So you want to brush up on your bad luck, do you? That game will do it for you, all right. Speak with Kali in the back. When Issa first opened, the Alfar approached the humans about creating a shared shop, so people here could get their sundries. All of this was lost on the Fae, of course. Most of the United Merchants are good people, like Wystron and Gwenna, but that blacksmith's apprentice, Britt Codgan, he's a leech. The Askers took me in when my pa was killed in the war. That's been nearly 10 years. Now this is my home, pretty. It's where you'll find me every day and every night. Oh, that's a sinister spot, isn't it? Even the Fae take a few extra steps to walk clear of there. Don't trust anyone in robes. It's the Fae neighborhood on the other side of the city. There you'll find the Hall of Appointments and the Lyceum Grove. They don't mind if you go exploring in the Understyle, but I wouldn't suggest it unless you know your way around. The Fae can be easily offended. Is that the one at the far end of the Understyle? Yeah, I think that's the place. Never been there, but folks say that's where the Fae make the waterfalls. You see, the city gets its magic from the water. They call it the fountain. Or is it the wellspring? I never remember. I'm sure it's just a story anyway. Olana and her squire Brio, they have the good fortune to meet with all the nobles who visit the High King. A life of lords and ladies. Oh, that's the life for me. Let me just say that I adore Olana. She's one of the few Fae that I've met face to face, and she couldn't be more pleasant. Such a pretty one. Like I said, it's all magic to me. If the Fae said this city got its power from glowing purple antelopes, I'd probably believe them. I'm just a hostess. Bye now.
Evening.
If you're looking to drown your worries at the bottom of a bottle, this is the place for you. I'm Gurturn Asker, and this is my establishment. But if you're looking for the Victor's Brew, we don't sell that in Asker's Alley, and you'll have to take your business elsewhere. It's the most popular drink in Amalur, at least it is now. My Asker's Ale used to be the preferred beverage, but every day brings more cancelled orders. My brother and I are working on a new drink, but it requires something special. Wait a minute. Maybe you could help. If you do, I could see to it that the merchants in Issa treat you well. So here's what we're thinking. Bring back our grandmother's favorite Asker's Draft, a classic. The recipe calls for bristletongue seeds, and if you're talking rare ingredients, bristletongue tops the list. It's worthless for potions, but tastes fabulous. The problem is that the Fae control the use of bristletongue, as it's a product of the Font's waters. Talk to Jackson, their apothecary. He can probably get it for us. The ambassadors requested that facilities be created where flesh and blood folks could put their feet up. Not that the Fae know what that means. So the All-Main approached my family about starting a tavern. The alley does well, but I'm no businessman. It's been in our family for 4 generations, since the days of Almir the Bold. Our grandmother entrusted us with the formula, and we made a fortune from it. But I'm afraid we've been replaced by a new drink. There's a brewery near Rathia that makes it. Very small, very secretive. But they've found their niche, that's for certain. Cheap and powerful. It's not a drink for the man who appreciates craftsmanship, tradition. It just helps the soldiers forget all they've been through. Oh, yes, sorry. The United Merchants Delegation. It's a coalition of traders that have been granted permission to sell their wares in Issa. I wouldn't say I ran from the war. I just don't need to know every little thing that's going on. There are other ways to help. Getting folks drunk is one of them. I know better than to criticize the Fae. They call us children of dust. We treat them like people, but they're like no people I've ever met. This city has been here for thousands of years. Longer than that, even. It will be here long after we're gone. Almir the Bold was the first king of the Almain. He brought us out of lawlessness and misery. We've always wanted to name a drink after him. He spends his time in the Lyceum Grove in the understyle section of town. He's an odd duck, always crafting new tonics. Some advice? Don't drink any. Good luck.
Hey.
You look like one who enjoys a game of hexes. We mortals need something of our own here in Issa. Why can't it be gambling? If you don't know how, I can teach you. You had a look about you. Listen, all you need recall is these 6 cards here in my hand. Ace, deuce, 3, 4, 5, and the hex. First, you start with an ante. What'll it be? In my hand, there's an ace, deuce, 3, 4, 5, and a hex. 6 cards all mixed up. First round, you guess even or odd. If you're right on a hex or an ace, you take the pot and we're done. Right on any other, and it's on to the second hand. Hand number 2. I'll pull another card, guess if it's higher or lower than the first. Get it right, you win. Simple as that. Bold, I like it. Now, will the card I draw be even or odd? Yes! And the draw is the hex. Take your winnings, you fortunate fool. What do you want to know about me for? Is this some kind of Fae interrogation? Keep your curiosity to yourself, friend. Folks here have gold. That's enough for me. I don't care where I find myself, just so long as the people there are willing to pay. Not much to do here in the Fae City, but lighten your pockets and have a good time doing it. But I jest. You have a lucky look about you, stranger. You'll be back.
Don't you know who I am? You wouldn't speak to me so openly if you did. My place is prowling the Feylands in search of a worthy challenge. Not here, petitioning fools about issues that do not concern me. You fell persons are ignorant, aren't you? The Great Cycle is what gives balance between the eternal conflict of growth and decay. When every Fey passes, he is reborn. As long as the Great Cycle persists, this world we share may continue to refine itself on a path to perfection. We adore him in every guise, yet he has a wistfulness that I do not understand. There is no fire in him, only a peaceful pool that goes deeper than any of us realize. There is no more important nature than that which lusts for battle. Creation and destruction are sisters in the Great Cycle, both necessary to maintain the balance. I am the flame that blackens the dirt, the smoke that blocks the sun. My time in the Withering War was my finest hour, but those seasons are long past now. The Summer Court would not stand for the mortal ambitions of Own, King of the Winter Court. So we burned him, as we burn a dying forest in need of mercy.
Turn away, mortal. The den of night is meant for the impudent.
Your entrance shall be denied. It is where the brazen and unrepentant are sent to consider their crimes. Must I point out that the Den of Night's occupants are almost always mortals? They are given time to reflect, and when they are ready, they may brave the beasts of the Hollow to return to us here on the surface. It's a great privilege for mortals to reside in this, our most sacred dwelling. Try to deny your dustling impulses and resist from killing each other. My own telling has brought me here to the Gardens of Issa, to act as one of its guardians and caretakers. I'll protect it from any threat, including you. Farewell.
Presenting the blade in the shadow, her grace the dark huntress.
Yes? Oh, a mortal in the understyle. This is indeed a treat. Come closer. I seldom see one of your kind so far from Felltown. Bristletongue, my, that would be something. A mockingbird with the font's only yield. Of course I will tell you where it is. What would be the fun in refusing? But before I do that, you need to offer me something. Isn't that how you mortals act? One deed for another? As steward of tinctures and elixirs, I often dabble in alchemy, especially with the water from the font. And I need you to drink this potion. Good. I will know what this does to the mortal constitution. Go on, big gulps now. None of that sipping. Goodbye.
Presenting the blade in the shadow, her grace the dark.
Oh, you took me by surprise. I'm not accustomed to mortals on the trellis. Please, enter. I am Lord Saramir, the High Lore Sage of Issa. I am here to answer all questions regarding the House of Ballads and the House of Valor. May good fortune follow. You're always welcome. The ballads belong to all in the telling. We are the children of the fields and fountains, a fey body filled with a deep breath of magic. All that you see around you is ours. For many seasons we lived in these forests and canyons alone, distrusting, apart. But once we felt the call to join together, we became the Seelie. By choosing to lead the Summer Fae, Titarian is eternally linked to our fortunes, both day and night. He feels the waning magic as a mortal might feel his heart sink at the sight of his sunrise. When our seasons end, Titarian will be the first to enter the long winter. It is meant exclusively for those close to the Summer Court, or the ambassador who wishes an audience with the High King. Our most honourable institutions reside on the trellis, including the House of Ballad Sanctuary and what was once the House of Valor Sanctuary. This sanctuary is where the knights of our most prestigious house stay when visiting the Court of Summer. I act as their humble scribe and servant. All Summer Fae clutch the glory of the House of Ballads to its collective breast, knowing that the deeds of one are indeed the deeds of all. It was one of the Fae's great houses until its leader was challenged and beaten, and the magic faded under the mortals' leadership. Now even the sanctuary here on the trellis is wilted and closed as a result of our great loss. Or perhaps it's a sign of something darker. May good fortune follow. Yes.
You feel it, don't you? The font's waning flow. You are intimate with the ways of magic. You're like me, youngling. You see the end. Of the gardens of Issa? Of the Summer Court? Why, this crystal war may be the end of all Fae. I know because I am Nomeron, master of the font, the wellspring of all Summer Court magic. I've seen it flow at its highest, but I've never seen it so dry. Something must be done before all this city withers into nothingness. The font is the source of all Summer Court magic. It has flowed through this mountainside since our kind sprang up from the dirt. That flow has waned in recent days. It's unnatural, even as the magic in the world grows. The Fae, it seems, will wither. The font's flow is controlled from the Lyceum Grove down below. We must open the root system and allow more water through. However, the magic that regulates this flow can only be used by some. It's protected by a ward known as the Waterlock. It can only be opened by one who carries drops from each of the 5 sacred pools surrounding Issa. Collect these drops, and you can break the Waterlock. As it is in every season, this family of Summer Fae has communed at the feet of its greatest leader, the High King Titarian. The Western Faelands are our domain. Every season, one is chosen to attend the font's magical flow, to act as ambassador. I'm the only Fae to have held the position more than once. I feel the strength of the currents. They wash through me. They rise up and overflow. However, their power weakens. their cool waters recede. It has been located here for many of your generations, what we call seasons. Only in recent times has it been shaped to resemble one of your mortal cities. The summer court resides on the highest terrace, far above the rest of us, as it should be. While wise and powerful, he's also brash and narrow. A sliver of light in a world so dark that most of us are blind. His inaction is no match for mortal ambition. It is the source of summer court magic and touches our realm of origin, the land of Ashara. Without its constant flow, our kind would dry up like leaves and vanish. Most mortals know nothing of what lies beyond the veil. The magical realm of Ashara. It is a mystery even to us, as we departed its shores many seasons ago. The sacred pools are the collection points for the font's yield. Together, they cradle the gardens of Issa. Keep it safe, powerful and hidden. You will find 2 of the pools below in the gardens themselves. One near the Ballad Sanctuary, and one in the Court of Summer itself. Collect water from each of the 5 sacred pools, and then go to the Lyceum Grove. This is where the roots can be opened to regulate the font's flow. Goodbye.
Welcome to the trellis, Dustling. This is a sacred walk. You gaze down from heaven upon the ruin that mortals have wrought. Just look at the House of Valor, the crumpled husk of its former self. Is this the fate of all our kind? To be wrung in the hands of the mortal world, to wither and fade? Every one of our kind has a gift, they say, a role in the telling. Mine is to seek harmony with nature, by keeping the wild fae under control. I am the Reaper. Most of my seasons are spent in the shadows of the canopy, tracking my prey. I have come to the Gardens of Issa to report the decay of wild fae. They are disappearing, and the king must be informed. Either they are vanishing due to the decline in fae magic, or someone is hunting them. It's my duty to discover which story is true. The House of Seasons was where those in tune with the Great Cycle went to understand its many mysteries. But the Great House now stands empty, its occupants gone. King Titarian will not speak of it, but I know something has happened. Whatever it is, the signs are ominous. Growth is violent, and nothing can reach fruition without surviving conflict. That is nature's way. Our House of Valor celebrated that conflict. Now, however, this great house has fallen to mortals such as you. That is why this sanctuary has withered and faded. The magic is gone. The trellis was created as common ground where the members of the great houses may meet to share knowledge and search for answers. However, it's not been the same since the House of Valor fell and the House of Seasons was deserted. And I always thought that nothing changes. Goodbye.
Don't start trouble.
Welcome to the gardens, mortal. But you have not come to visit the city, nor to speak with me. You are here on much graver errands. I can help you divine the role you will play in coming events, and the skills needed to finish that journey. We are a special breed, but you know that already. I am only a visitor here like you. Perhaps I was drawn to this place by something greater than myself. Perhaps it was you. This is where the Fae of Issa fulfill their roles in the telling. You mortals call it work, but we see it as following the cycle, letting our nature guide us. Farewell. That is odd.
How strange.
Greetings, mortal.
You are not meant to be here. Mortals have no place on the font. I am guardian of the Court of Summer and protector of the font. I watch over the most precious of the city's blossoms, including the rare bristle-tongue bloom. Its petals open once every few seasons, lifetimes for mortals such as you. But its seeds are potent and volatile, hence my vigil. The court communes in the building behind you. They are not to be disturbed, for their wisdom can shift the stars and clear the clouds. You are not to go near. I patrol the gardens near the font during the daylight hours, but must return to reverie at twilight, as do all my kind. Many believe that the font supplies all of the western Feylands, the realm of the Summer Court, with their magic. Its flow touches all of us with its gifts. It is a powerful communion between the Fae and the magic that sustains us. We come together in the evening hours to connect and to feel as one. Go back to the gardens.
Greetings.
Good. You've come. I'm sorry to make you wait like this, but what I mean to discuss is very sensitive. It involves treachery. Despite the calm you see around you, the Gardens of Issa are on the brink of war, and the question is, who will be fighting? There are plans being made to seize this city. Your people are displeased with the Court of Summer's lack of support for the war, and they wish to overthrow Tatarian and force the remaining Fae to fight. You can prevent this, but you must act now. If gold is an issue, we Dokkulfar can pay well. Some of your people disagree with Tatarian's neutrality. They believe that his Fae subjects could be convinced to march with us on the battlefield. I believe this as well, but I would never resort violence. Now Issa is in danger of being turned into a military camp. You cannot let that happen. It will ruin all hope for winning this war. Of course, it is the right thing to do. The leader of the plot is the Varani ambassador, Kirna Brenner. Every night, the ambassador strolls Memory Walk, alone. She carries a pair of daggers. Take them. Afterwards, dispose of them. Destroy them. Salvage them. I don't care. Return to me when it is done. She is no politician. She is a warlord, and a cruel one. I've heard stories that would make your heart brittle. She was sent here for one reason alone, to bring down Issa. Not everyone is welcome up there. It's where the court of summer nobles spend their time reminding themselves of past glories. I'd avoid it. The Varani leaders here communicate secretly using weapons. They engrave codes into the blades of daggers and swords, which gets them through a typical search. We believe this particular pair of daggers describes the defenses of Issa, where it's strong and where it's weak. Brenna is plotting, and she will act. She spends most of her time in the embassy, but in the evenings, she enjoys a leisurely stroll through Memory Walk. Try there after dark. Goodbye.
Why are you worthy of Mithoru's blessings?
I know the purpose given me, the reason I am here.
Greetings. What have I done now? Someone in Issa is always looking to send me away. But I won't go. No. All those who come to greet the king must first be granted permission by the Hall of Appointments in the Understyle, which I might say seems rather inconvenient. You mortals are talented at fighting what is natural. Perhaps this is your influence. I have heard he is a noble spirit, a beacon of wisdom and calm in this changing world. I will never know for certain if this is true unless I look upon him directly. Yes? What do you need now, Dustling? I have done little in my many seasons, than venture to this place and attempt to gain an audience with King Titterian. I have yet to succeed, but I keep coming.
Keep your weapons here.
Hello. Welcome to the Issa chapter house of the Scholia Arcana. How may I be of assistance? As a docent of the Scholia Arcana, my duties involve handling all tasks necessary for the day-to-day administration of the Order's affairs in Issa. We are a collective of mages, and those that have a mind to unravel the ethereal phenomena of these Feylands and beyond. Despite Jorum's frustrations, the wild magic of the Fey can be channeled in the most extraordinary ways. It is a great honor for us to be granted a place among them. The Issa chapter is but a small branch of our larger Rathir chapter in the plains of Erethel. We focus more on researching the magics of the Fey and Dalentarth in pure instruction. We are an order of magic practitioners dedicated to the fostering of knowledge regarding all things mystical and arcane. While the heart of our power lies in Rathir, we keep an embassy here in Issa to maintain strong relations with the Fey. Traditionally, our applicants undergo years of preparation, but we understand your circumstances are somewhat irregular. Ever since you entered the city, we've been watching you. After all, an endorsement from Niralim is not quickly dismissed. If it is your wish to join our order, you must first complete the trial of initiation. It is a ritual that will better equip us to understand what place you might have among us. I will not lie. Some do not survive the ordeal. Of those who do, only a select few are chosen to become members of our order. Then first I shall present you with this. It is the story of the order's founding and a good primer for all who wish to join our ranks. Now I shall summon the circle of mages necessary to perform the ritual. Savant Engar will lead the trial. Speak to him in the Delving Hall when you're ready to begin. We are a society of mages dedicated to the study of magic. Short of joining, the best way to learn about the Order is to read On the Founding of the Scholia Arcana. It is not for me to divulge the details of the trial. I can only advise that you do not take the risk lightly. Farewell.
Good day.
Don't know if we've had the pleasure. I'm the finest merchant in these parts, I assure you. Can't say that I have much in the way of magical ability, but I know trade better than anyone else here, and they appreciate it here. You can't just have a group of book-minded mages and expect the organization to take care of itself. They rely on people to look after the logistics, like me. When I first arrived here at the instruction of the Order, I was terrified of the Fae. They are nothing like us. Come back anytime.
Hey. Raina Nyon can teach sage crafting to anyone. She spends most of her time in the hole.
Damn quiet, damn fools. Ah, I'm sorry, friend, I didn't see you there. I'm afraid I'm a bit concerned. A few nights ago, I was the victim of an attempted robbery. Someone sought to steal a gem of mine from a chest I warded myself. That night, 3 initiates fled the chapter. Cassera, Aloran, and Bertrand. I suspect they were somehow involved. They could only have run into the Shi. Can you find them? Someone attempted to steal a valuable gem from me, and on the very same evening, 3 of our initiates disappeared. Cassera, Aloran, and Bertrand. They're somehow involved in the attempted theft, and at the very least, in danger while on the Shi. Thank you. Find out what happened and I'll be grateful. I'm an experienced sagecrafter. My skills as a mage leave much to be desired, but no one knows stones like I do. You've got to find them. They're somewhere in the Shi, I'm sure of it. There's 3 of them. Cassera, Bertrand, and Aloran. The finest practitioners of the arcane crafts on the continent can be found within the Order. There are many things we have learned from our time with the Fae, though their magic is quite unlike ours. They must be in the Shi. Find them there. Don't be a stranger!
Greetings.
Presenting the blade in the shadow, Her Grace the Dark Huntress.
Sage Crafting Services here. I do hope you are staying safe, stranger. I wouldn't want you to tear that skin of yours or leave it to disease. It is the only one you possess. This is where those who seek an audience with the Summer Court must first make their claim. And once that claim is honored, I will prepare them for reception. The Fae fulfill roles in the telling, be it king or steward. If one wishes to ascend the heavens, one must abide by the laws of nature. Your kind has tried for so long to gain access to this sacred place, to be near us. Yet here you all are, and I rarely see a single mortal in the understyle. What do they fear, I wonder? I am the attendant of the court's list, and the lady of receivership. I am trained in all aspects of courtly customs and stand 12th closest advisor to the High King. Goodbye.
Hello.
Presenting the blade in the shadow, Her Grace the Dark Huntress.
If it isn't the mockingbird, come in, come in. It's always good to hear a fancy chirp. Do come see me again. Yes, mockingbird? Didn't you speak to Barrett? The Bristletongue is outside the court of summer. I enjoy the mortal world immensely. It adds such texture and color to our experience. Now and then you might find me in your dustling district, taking in the bustle. I am the steward of tinctures and elixirs. A meaningless title, one I gave myself, actually. But my work is vital, as is my role, to test the font's magic. This is where we watch over the font, the source of magic in the gardens of Issa. It is a fountainhead that is nourished for as long as this world has been. The font's flow can be measured, directed, and even regulated, depending on the needs of our people. Font Master Nomoran attends to these duties. He has the role of monitoring the font's flow throughout the city and the Feylands. His telling is not to be envied, as it is one of our most important. It may be difficult to believe, but this city was once inhabited only by Fey. The understyle consisted of everything growing beneath the font. Now this important section of the Issa is but a dark corner, all but forgotten. Font Master Nomoran insists that everything flows as it should, yet I have seen his worry, and I feel the magic weakening. Strange forces are at work. Farewell, mortal.
Stop where you are, Dustling. Perhaps I can find a use for this. Carry on, Dustling. Sword in its
Hello.
Oh, excellent. Another... Oh, a mortal. I don't think I could... Well, perhaps I might. Yes, of course. Why not? You, Dustling, how would you like to make some of your shiny, bright metal? What's it called? Ah, yes, gold. How would you like some of that? My role is with the Hall of Appointments, to prepare visiting ambassadors and dignitaries to meet with the Court of Summer. Right now, there are 4 terrible, regal lords and ladies that wish to see High King Tatarian, but they are a fickle lot and require extra, handling. They must enter the font in a procession, but each has his or her own preferences, and I can't afford to offend any of them. Wonderful. That's one less aggravation that demands my concern. Thank you, mortal. The dignitaries have been seen about the gardens, enjoying its many splendors. I will remain here and await your advice. I enjoy my role as steward, but my fear of Lady Olana overshadows any pleasure I might find in the tasks assigned to me. She is quite critical. Well, I've never met him, of course. Such an honor is not granted to squires. But they say he is quite incredible. As tall as a tree and radiating a great light, as though a sun burned within him. The birds sing to herald his glory. She is well suited to her role as the Lady of Receivership, as she enjoys judging the worth of others. She has assessed me as well, and I have been found lacking. I am steward of the High King's List, and apprentice to the Lady of Receivership. Olana will be so displeased once she finds out I failed her so. Few dustlings ever make their way to these gardens. I believe they fear us, as they fear the elements. As they should. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you not like to be called dustlings? Everywhere. Goronet is in the Hall of Appointments, but the others are all over the city. What a nightmare. Goodbye.
Presenting the blade in the shadow.
You've got the seeds! Now we'll see if the Victor's Brew can stand up to a new challenger. I'll have a batch of Aska's draft ready before the week is out. Take this, friend. And like I promised, the merchants here will give you a discount. You've got a home here in the alley for as long as you like. Thanks for the business.
What could you possibly want from me? I am Warlord Wenery, Lady of the Red Sands. I am not to be disturbed. Of course. But see that it doesn't happen again. I come here only to observe. I wish not to be prodded every... I am not petty, but I have limits, as do we all. I know I should lead the formation because of my position, but other, more tender individuals will insist otherwise. Whatever you do, do not make me walk behind the High Fae Mage Goronet. How shall I put this? He has an odor. My only request is that Lord Goronet follow far behind me. He and his stink belong together. Careful what you say, fell person. This is most important dealing with the lords and ladies of Issa. Remember your place. Of course. But see that it doesn't happen again.
Welcome to the alley.
What do you want? Do you have business with the Varani in the Gardens of Issa? If so, then you must speak with me, Kierna Brenner. This is not a life I chose, here in this fetid swamp of a city. I was raised on the sea, an adventurer and warrior. I survived, and that made me what you see before you. Cowardice drives her ambition, a fear of being discovered. All the Alfar lack spines. We Varani make our own outcomes. You should know this. They don't deserve the breath I waste on them. There are powerful warriors in their ranks, but as a group they share no collective spine. They have no reason to fight. I do not enjoy this position, talking instead of fighting, speaking of the enemy instead of facing them, but I have a job to do, and I will do it. You must mean Keen and her cohorts in the embassy. Lapdogs, all of them. They don't appreciate the situation. They don't understand sacrifice. This plot interests you. Listen, Ambassador Keen tries to stop me, but she can only do so while she lives and breathes. You can help me put an end to that. Such is this game of diplomacy. All options are in play until an obvious choice presents itself. Force can be quite useful if you know how to clean up after yourself. Kill that scheming whore. When it's done, deliver these daggers for me. A courier awaits you in Aiton village, to the east. This is what must be done. The Varani will not be threatened. She is either working in the embassy or praying down by the city gates on the lower terraces. Try to find her alone. The guards can be somewhat troublesome, even in Issa.
Maybe I leave tomorrow. Maybe. Memory Walk is an unnatural place. Cursed by the Fae's false gods. I would avoid it if I were you.
Yes?
Presenting the blade in the shadow. Grace.
You've done well, Child of the Dust. Those below will never know what is really happening. But in the end, is this a part of the many seasons or the sudden tempest? Does hiding the rot not spoil the harvest, no? Take this. You're brave. Perhaps we will meet again. May your gods protect you. Mortal.
I am the great huntress Hartwin, and you are not allowed on the trellis. What brings you here, beautiful? How quaint. Well, I am the most respected and most deserved to lead. Besides, I detest that harlot, Warlord Winry. So it is only right I meet the High King before her. There's something not quite right about you, and I'm not sure if we should be speaking. Make sure I am ahead of my rival, Lady Winry. That will make me happy. The pleasure was all mine, Child of the Dust. Goodbye.
Yes, mortal?
Why, hello. I am Viscount Setter, the Allseer. Are you from the Hall of Appointments? Order? I care nothing for order. It is the others who insist on such foolishness and frippery. However, if you are the one who determines such things, may I ask that you place me behind the Warlord Winry? I enjoy watching her backside travel. It would be best if Coronet trails far behind Great Huntress Hartwin. Once at each other's throats, those two are difficult to tear apart. Remember, behind Lady Winry. Always a pleasure. I am at your service, fleshy master.
Presenting the blade in the shadow. Her grace the dark.
Another steward? When did the Gardens of Issa become such a teeming pot of nonsense? What is it? Me? Well, my seniority dictates that I should be leading this procession, but my lame leg prevents me from taking my rightful place. I should bring up the rear. I will make it to Tartarean's throne, even if I have to crawl. They make up the most powerful body in the world, especially now that the mortal races have become embroiled in conflict. A second spring is coming, mark my words. I remember a cycle, a great many seasons, when your kind did not trample the Gardens of Issa. This city was the ideal in those times. It is forever tainted now. I spent many seasons wandering the wood of the She, acquiring the knowledge necessary to better serve the Summer Court. But does Tartarian care? Never. Such groveling is beneath me. Such spectacles of royalty and procedure. I may be able to wait an eternity for an audience, but the untended garden grows wild. He is the most beautiful of us, a being of absolute perfection. It is a shame he must grace the mortal realm in a physical form. His true brilliance is beyond you.
Pretty evening, isn't it?
So, you're done. A right group of snakes, eh? So, any insight into how I should present them so as not to tug their writhing tails? It's good that someone does. Go on. Let's line up these backstabbing serpents. Yes, yes. Of course. And then? All right. Next. Yes, yes. Excellent. That's a perfect order for these fools. Saves me the trouble of talking to them. Thank you. Farewell.
Pretty evening, isn't it?
Hey.
Pretty evening, isn't it?
Maybe I leave tomorrow?
You've returned. Have you found them? Then you must tell me, please. Very well. But I'm eager to learn what happened that night. Goodbye! Please, tell me what transpired between them. Then you must tell me, please. Is that right? I always pegged Bertrand as a follower who would take orders from anyone. Strange that he might be the ringleader. But tell me, what happened next? That seems unlikely to me. Alurin was the most gifted of the three in hexcraft. Not to mention he was the most physically capable. But of the third, what happened? How unfortunate. Cassera knew the dangers of the shield like the back of her hand. I could have sworn she could navigate the wood. Well, you've done all you can at least. Take this gold with my thanks. And I will discount my services should you require them. Goodbye!